What an episode that was, Laura. What'd you say?
Yeah, I think we covered just about everything you could cover in an hour-long episode. Um, we had some track and field in there. We had some fried chicken in there. Um, what else did we have in there? Man, I don't even remember. There was so much.
We talked about our ultimate 4x4 teams.
Yep.
We got a chance to talk if we like the trial system, the ranking system. We also talked about Laura's race that she's going to be running.
Where I'm
Yes.
feeling my inner Noah Lyles, because for those of you that don't know, the new Netflix Sprint documentary is out. And it follows like six of the world's best sprinters as they did their build up to the World Championships last year. Highly recommend. So I'm taking all of that energy into my 5K tomorrow.
What shoes, what Saucony shoes are you going to be wearing? Because we talked about the triumphs for a brief period of time.
I will be wearing the new Elite 2 that dropped on the 1st of July. So those are out. Everyone can get a pair. I'm obsessed. I feel like I can rule the world in that shoe. And I'm going to rule the Firecracker 5K. So
Well,
I am racing in the Elite 2 tomorrow.
as Andy would say, saving the best for first. And that's what we did on Lactic Acid today. We also talked a little food. You got to have a little culinary palate if you know what I'm saying, if you know what I'm saying. But listen, appreciate you guys listening. Please tune in, follow us if you haven't already. Leave a like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube page, and also follow us wherever you get your podcast. Leave a review if you like us. Listen, it means a lot to us. Hashtag help us rapport, but we love you guys and we hope you're enjoying everything. Follow us on social media. Road to 1,000. We have a month left to get to 1,000 followers. That way we can reenact the SNL Ranch skit. Until next time, love, peace, and a side of chicken grease. Hope you enjoy the episode. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to the show that is Lactic Acid. I am your co-host, Dom.
I am your other co-host, Laura.
And we are the dynamic duo, the one-two punch, the brosis combination, the rainbow connection, the two-piece, and the biscuit that makes up lactic acid with Dom and Laura. My sister, do what it do.
It be doing.
It be
It
doing.
really be doing. What a week. I'm still decompressing from the Olympic trials and everything that we witnessed over the last 10 days. I have my own race tomorrow, the Firecracker 5K that I have been training for. So we're hoping to get that W. And then you just informed me that Saturday is National Fried Chicken Day. So I just feel like, there's a lot going on, all good things.
All great things. What does Fried Chicken Day mean to you?
It means that I should eat fried chicken on Saturday. I wish that I could make fried chicken. I cannot. So I will have to purchase it somewhere. But there's this place in Boulder. But again, I know you're laughing when you think of like Boulder and fried chicken. You're like, really, like, is that real?
It's non-existent. I don't believe it.
But there's this place in Boulder, and I'm blanking on the name of it, which is really sad, but this is why, because it's inside a food hall. It's inside
Oh,
of Vonti, which is like a bar, and then it has like all these different like restaurants, like a kind of like a food hall, like cafeteria situation. And this restaurant, I think it's called Roots. They have a bomb fried chicken sandwich. It is so good. But you're also gonna judge me because it's supposed to be like a Nashville hot situation. I don't like spice. I don't do spice. I'm a very like mild girl. So I always ask for it without the Nashville hot. So it's just like a plain fried chicken sandwich, but they put this like aioli on it with like pickles and like a slaw, and it's on like
ooh.
these really good like toasted like brioche buns. Oh my God, it is the best sandwich. So I'll probably get that on Saturday to like celebrate. I'll send you a picture.
Oh, please do. Selfies with the chicken because
Yeah, selfies with the chicken. All of you listening, you should do that. If you do a selfie with your fried chicken, please tag us and we will repost
we will repost it on Lactic Acid. It will be in our Culinary Hall of
it.
Fame. So yeah, that is a move. That's a major move. I will say, um, Fried Chicken Day is heritage to me. Did I ever
Mhm.
show you the picture of when I was a baby? I was eating, I don't think this was good, but my grandmom sitting on her lap in a diaper and just destroyed this chicken bone. It was a drumstick.
I love that for you. So it started early. It
It
started
started early.
you were young.
Listen, train up a child in the way they should go is what the Bible said, and we certainly got that. We certainly got
And
that
look how well
training.
you turned out, you know? So
Listen,
that's how
yeah,
legends are made right there.
legends are made, careers are born off the roots of fried chicken. So that's what we love. All thriller, no filler. That's how we roll on here. So Saturday I'm going to a little birthday party and everything, but I already informed my boy. I was like, Rob, if you listen to this, happy birthday, brother.
Oh, happy
Um,
birthday, Rob.
yeah, technically a Saturday, but pretend this is Saturday. Listen to this Saturday.
Listen to this
Um,
on your birthday, and then it will all make sense.
it didn't all make sense. But I said, Rob, I'm bringing chicken to the party. And he was like, dude, there's all these vendors and everything out here. Just try something. I said, no, but it's July 6th. It is National Fried Chicken Day. We don't miss that. That's up
No.
there with Christmas.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah.
So,
So you were
um,
bringing chicken that you're making? Like what fried chicken are you bringing to his birthday? Like where
shout
will the
out to Theo's Fried Chicken on Curry
oh,
Ford Rose. Yes. Now, this is going to sound a little weird to people. If you want to judge me, I don't care because I feel confident in my culinary palate compared to people that just listening to this, especially when it comes to unhealthy food. Um, Theo's is a Greek restaurant that specializes obviously in Greek food, but they put their foot in some fried chicken. Let me tell you
wow,
some.
that was I wasn't expecting that when you were like Theo's, and then I was like, okay, it's gonna be like, they're gonna like specialize in fried chicken, and you're like, it's a Greek restaurant. And I was like, what?
Yes. Let me tell
Wait,
you
hang
something. So
on.
I had to try it for myself way back when. And they have two menus, a Mediterranean menu, and the Mediterranean food is their Greek food is legit. But that chicken, girl, let me tell you something. Can I testify for a second? I went and they fry the chicken fresh. And I'm like, how are they making this chicken? They put the chicken in a pressure cooker
Hmm.
that steams the air out, makes the chicken more tender and crispy.
And then they fry it after they put it in the pressure cooker.
They fry it and like they
Oh,
pressure fry it. That's a better way to
pressure fry it. Wow, what a technique. What a move.
deep fried pressure.
Damn.
Um, and that chicken is pressure. And I took a look at it and I said, I know this is my soulmate. I knew this is what I prayed for and what I waited for. And they served it with some hush puppies and some crinkle cut fries, some golden crinkles.
Dang. Wow, I
The
don't know if I would like if I went to a Greek restaurant and they had like a fried chicken menu. I'm not sure that I would like jump in to try that because I'd be like, well, it's a Greek place. Like, why are they doing fried chicken? Like, stay in your lane. But it sounds like this is wow, I've learned so much. Okay. You never know. You,
listen,
you never know where you're gonna find that bomb fried chicken. Like you just don't know where you're gonna stumble upon it.
I know
So
you talked about staying in your lane. Theo's got the whole road and the road is
I was
closed.
gonna say Theo's has the entire highway. They have a 4-lane highway situation going, and they're doing it all.
They got the
So if I
express
ever come
lane.
back to Florida, I would like to go to Theo's. Put that on our list. Which is
When
a
I
long list. Dom is really trying to convince me to come back to Florida because I declared on our Instagram live that I would never come back. And so the other day we did like a FaceTime call and he was like, these are all the things we would do if you came back. And it was like 20 minutes later, he was like still listing things. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do so much in the state of Florida. And now we can
yeah.
have Theo's. You didn't even have that on your original list.
No, well, the problem is all you like to do is run.
No, if I
Um,
come back to Florida, I will not run. I refuse to run a step as Orlando still has some of my soul like cemented into the roads. So I won't be running. It'll just be like a tour to Florida. And it's just going to be a trip where you take me to all of these incredible places. And that's all I'm going to do there. So I won't be running. So we don't have to worry about that.
okay.
Unless
Um,
you wanted to run. If you were like, hey, will you run with me? Because you'll be crushing 5Ks and you're going to be just like, you're turning into a long distance runner
Stop.
who is now saying, like, I want to do 10Ks. So you'll be running. So I would run to run with you, but I wouldn't like run for myself. You know, like if that was something you wanted to do, like, hey, I want to go on a run, I'd be like, okay, for you, I will saddle back up.
It depends on the time of year you come, because if you come when it's like today and the heat index is
Oh God, ew.
106.
Ew, no, I will not come in the summer. I refuse. I will only come in the winter.
Oh, listen, if you come in the winter, we go to Disney Springs and stuff. That's
That
another
sounds
dinner.
better. I don't want to come when the heat index is 106. Like, no, thank you.
What did we eat for dinner? Because it was the FaceTime call was our weekly dinner that we do once or twice a week. What
Oh,
you were
I
eating
adore
kava?
gas. I ate kava. It was like the fifth day I hadn't been to the grocery store, and I was like, I literally don't have food here. And I decided to put it off one more day. So I was lazy and I door dashed kava. And it was delicious. I love kava. It's like my go-to. So
Well,
that's what I had. I don't remember what you were eating. I'm not sure I asked you what you had.
a slow braised chicken half with white gravy that insisted of mirepoix, and the gravy was like a sauce based uh cream of chicken and cream of celery with mirepoix in it, over a bed of jasmine rice, some green beans, and sweet potato cornbread with Gatorade Zero, the one that looks like pea, the lemon lime.
So this is why I hate having dinner with Dom because I'm over here like eating like a salmon Caesar salad or like something from Cava or just like Annie's mac and cheese. And he's like, oh, I just whipped this up or like, oh, this just leftovers from last night. And it's like this whole like 8 course meal that he's just like put together. So yeah, so we had very different dinners.
Okay,
Monday.
but in all fairness, you like just came from like a 10-course dinner, so I was trying to match that energy.
It's true. So for all of you that don't know, there's a restaurant in Boulder called Frosca. And
No,
it
it's
is
not. It's called
what?
Frosty. The
Okay,
name
so
is
Dom kept
Frosty.
calling it Frosty. He's like, "How is your dinner at Frosty's?" I was like, excuse you. This is Frosca is one of, I believe it is one of the only restaurants in Colorado that has a Michelin star. And the owner, Bobby Stuckey, is a really good friend of mine, and he is a runner himself, and he's just like a huge fan of the sport, and is just like so awesome. But he owns this really fancy restaurant in Boulder, and I've never ever been. I have lived here 17 years. I've never been. And so I used to always tell myself, okay, I'm taking myself to Frosca if I make an Olympic team or if I get top three in a major, I'm gonna like go and celebrate and finally get to like experience this like 7 course like dining experience. And Frosca is like it's like kind of Italian. It's like northern Italian kind of cuisine is what they specialize in.
And she went.
Fancy. But your girl went.
She went.
So I went on Saturday and I thrived. I'm not going to go into detail. But yes, I finally got to go and I'm a Frosca girly now. And yeah, so I was telling Dom all about like my like 5 course meal. Bobby hooked us up with like 2 extra kind of like appetizers, like 2 glasses of this like incredibly fancy wine that he like imports himself. I had an espresso martini. I had this other really great cocktail. It was like we were there for like 3 hours too. It was just like it's like a whole thing. And it was great. And I've never known dining like that before. So yeah, maybe I'll just start eating there on the regular.
Laura was like, listen, Dom, when you get out here, I'm
I was
taking you to
like, I am
Frosty.
taking you to Frosca because you don't, I can't explain it to you. But again, this is coming from the girl who eats like Annie's mac and cheese and like kava on the regular. So like you could take me anywhere and I'd be like, oh my God. No, but really, shout out to Bobby Stuckey. Frosca is an incredible restaurant. I believe Jay-Z and Beyonce have dined there. So I mean, I'm just saying. I felt like Beyonce Saturday. I was like, is this what it's like?
Um,
I felt so cool. It was great. Super fun. Delicious.
Bobby's the one that does the Pizzeria Locale.
Yes, it is now called Pizzeria Alberico. It is named after his wife's side of the family, which is cool. But that's my favorite pizza place. Well, it's one of my favorite restaurants in Boulder. It's like wood-fired, kind of like Italian pizzas. They have these appetizers called arancini, and it's basically like a fried risotto
Risotto
ball.
ball.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with those. So good. And they have great wine and I love that place. So I go there all the time. And so, but again, it's right next door to Frosca. And so you have to walk by Frosca to go to Pizzeria Alberico. And I'm like, one day, I'm always that person like walking by Frosca, like staring in the window, like wondering what it would be like. And last summer, Emma Bates and I went to Frosca and we just sat at the bar and we just got drinks to kind of like, get the experience. And that was like the close. I had like one foot in that world. And so then Saturday I got to go all the way in and it was great. So your girl is thriving.
Um, the risotto things, whatever. Here's what you got to do with them. You got to cut the top open
Okay.
and put some marinara sauce in there.
Oh yeah, they bring out marinara sauce or like this red sauce that you like could dip them in.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying you have to put it inside as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm telling you, it'll change your life.
Yeah, I mean, done. I'll do that next time I go.
Now, let me preface my comments by saying I've never tried this or nor know what it looks like. I just saw it on
Like,
diners,
just like,
drive-ins, and dives.
oh, is that okay? Well, hey, I love Triple D, so anything that's done on Triple D, I will also do. Like, say less.
Say less, as the kids would
Say less.
say.
Okay. All right.
Um, but you were the one that said if you say anything with confidence, it sounds real. So I tried to practice that in that.
Well, no, like just now, I was like, oh, you've clearly done this. Like, you've clearly done risotto balls where you slice them off and then put marinara in the middle. Like, I wouldn't have known that you stole that from Guy Fieri. I wouldn't have known.
I don't even know if I've ever had risotto before.
Oh, that was one of the dishes Bobby brought out for us to try. It was like this green garlic risotto. I practically licked the bowl. Like I was trying to be classy because this is like a very fancy, classy establishment, but like I was like scraping the bowl. It was so good. So good.
I know people are trying to eat their phone at listening to this, so we're going to continue to talk about food. Um, what's on the menu for Memorial Day?
Memorial Day, you mean 4th of July?
Fourth of Lord have mercy.
It's been a long year, so
It's
I'm
it's
gonna admit
it's
that.
been a long decade, and so I want to apologize for what's happened.
It's been a long 4 years.
It's been long
4th of
years.
July, I don't really have a menu. I don't have anything planned past my race tomorrow morning. So the day is wide open for me. I don't really have an agenda. I feel like you somehow always end up at like a barbecue. Like I don't know, that's kind of how all of my 4th of July's have been in recent memory. But I have no plans after crushing my 5K in Fort Collins tomorrow. The day is wide open. So I don't know, TBD.
TBD.
What are you
Okay.
doing? What's on your menu tomorrow?
Well, we're gonna get started tonight.
Oh,
Um,
that's when you
yeah,
know it's serious, when you get started the night before. Like that's gonna be legit.
I got a homemade pulled pork recipe, so we're gonna crank that out.
Um,
Got some ribs we're gonna crank out. Y'all can't cook no ribs like a brother can cook some ribs. I'm just trying to tell people that. Sweet potato cornbread.
oh, I know you've talked about this. I want sweet potato cornbread so badly. That sounds so good. I love cornbread, just like basic cornbread. This sounds way better.
Let me tell you something. It's built different. I will send you the recipe, but I don't trust you to make it.
No, I'll have Watson make it. My friend Watson is an incredible chef. Like the other night I was leaving their house after watching the last night of the trials, and he was just whipping up like a garlic sourdough bread from scratch. Like no big deal. The other day I finished a run with his fiance Tina, and we get back and he has just made homemade apple crumble muffins. Like he is the real deal. So I will give him this recipe and he will make it for me. So,
Nah, I'm just wait till I get there and I'll make it.
okay.
And so, because Watts is gonna be busy making me that apple crumble pie thing he
Oh my
makes.
God. It was the like the muffins were like hot. Oh my, so
Anyway,
sorry.
anyway,
I just like blacked out thinking about that. Like any type of baked good, and I'm like done.
that's her love
That's
language
my love language, baked goods and Frosca.
and Frosties. So dough that rises and Frosties.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, sweet potato, cornbread. Got some potato salad and some baked beans. And I don't know if we're doing collard greens or corn.
okay. And what are you gonna do with all this food? Like, what does your day look like tomorrow? Like family coming over, barbecues, like what do you
I cannot believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say what I'm about to say, even though I can't believe I'm about to say what I'm about to say because I did not think what I'm about to say would ever come out of my mouth.
oh, okay, well, safe space.
I have a double tomorrow. You see, you didn't even,
Oh, wow,
you
for those
didn't,
of you listening, I was drinking something and I almost spit it out.
you didn't even, oh
I
God.
didn't think you were gonna say that at all. You have a double tomorrow, you have two runs, two
I,
workouts.
two
I'm not even
workouts.
doubling tomorrow.
Well, you're racing. I have two different workouts tomorrow.
Dang. Okay, so you're gonna sandwich those in somewhere tomorrow.
Yeah,
Okay, just some advice, and maybe your coach Tori will agree with me. I don't know. I don't want to like step in. Um, do your first run or workout earlier in the
that's the
day
plan.
than you've been doing it.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little bit more time to do the second one. You know, Dom's like, yeah, I go out like 11 and do like my run. And I'm like, what? You live in Florida. You go out at 11. I don't even run that late here.
Tori asked me, well,
I'm like, what are
I'm
you doing? Do you hate yourself? Do you want to make it harder?
Laura yelled at me because I go to bed so late, and she's absolutely right. So I've been trying to like go to bed earlier,
Sleep more.
but
It's true.
hashtag life. Um, basically, but I tell Tori, part of it is there's a method to the madness, and there really isn't. It's just like I get up when I
I was gonna
feel
say,
good.
is there, let's be honest about that.
There,
The
there really
madness
isn't.
is you just not going to bed.
That's
So
pretty much it. But
let's
it's
call
like,
it what it is.
yeah, sleep deprivation. But I always try to think like, okay, when you go to the race on August 17th, it's gonna be easy. Um, and then because the race is at 7:30, but then I had to get up at 7:30 in the morning. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like it's so
And
hot, so humid.
if the race is at 7:30, you're gonna want to get up at like at least 5:30.
I'm just not gonna go to sleep.
Oh, good. Yeah, pull an all-nighter before. I do recommend that.
Yes, just gonna sleep at the start line. Because
Great.
listen,
Gonna camp out.
just gonna camp out because you know my motto, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I'm gonna be
Yeah,
ready.
no, it's words to live by.
Um, but no, I was running the other day and it's like 10:30. I was like, I can knock this out real quick. No, it was like 10:40. And I was like, yeah, I'll knock this out real quick. And I didn't look at the weather. And it was like the heat index was already 100.
Oh my God.
And I got like a half mile in. I was like, I don't know. like like
Like,
I
I
was
might
I was
get out here. This
I was
might.
hurt. And I felt good. Like I started running. I got my triumphs on. I'm running. I feel good. And then I turned, made a right, and the sun was waiting on me. The sun was doing one of these and everything. And his friend's humidity came through, and I was struggling. I was like, I'm pretty sure the cars that passed me by heard me wheezing down the
And
sidewalk.
they were also like, is this man trying to kill himself? Like, should we be concerned? Like, why are you out there running at 11 a.m. when it's like 106?
I get, and
I'm
then
like,
I had to like book it because there was a dog that
right,
was
you can't say
growling.
a dog. You dropped like an 8-minute mile though. Look at you.
I looked at that thing and said 8 minutes, and I remember texting Tori. She's like, "How does it feel?" I was like, "It burns!" Like I was in so much pain.
That's how you know. I mean, that's 5K. Like it just burns the whole time. It's like a pretty quick burn. So that's good practice. So like you like know that feeling. So when you inevitably hit that in a race, you're like, oh yeah, no, I've been here. I've
There,
navigated the race.
there's a hill in that race, uh, that I'm not happy about,
Yeah, you
or
said
it's just
it.
so, you know, prayers for a brother. But we got until August to talk about that. Um, I promise people this is going to be running related, but
We're getting
before
there, you guys. We're
we're
getting
getting
there.
it.
It's just like a slow pivot. I
Pretty
promise.
much we are doing this episode like I run my miles in the morning
Yeah, we like
or my mile in the morning.
before we came on, we were like, wait, what is this episode about? And we're like, oh
I
yeah,
got
the trials. Like, what else can we talk about?
down. And then like I
And
said, we're
we
not,
are.
yes.
We have arrived.
Um we're not gonna spend too much time because we did the live stream and we don't want to sound, we're just gonna talk about a few of our favorite moments of the trials. But I do have to say this. My people in the Caribbean, specifically Jamaica, Grenada, all those who was getting hammered by the storm. Grenada, those islands just got blasted by a Cat 5 hurricane. Jamaica, as we are doing this, is getting hit hard. Uh, love, peace, and prayers from Lactic Acid. Definitely hope it doesn't do it isn't as bad as it says. Living in Florida, we know what it is with these canes and we hate them. So yeah, just want to say that. But I also wanted to say, um, to the people in Fort Collins, Laura's in a bad mood. So we want to pray for you too. Um, and stuff. But for real, praying for Jamaica and those. And it's one of those things where I don't know if I want to text you tomorrow to say how'd you do because I feel like that would be disrespectful.
I mean,
So
I need this win. I need a win so badly. That's my only goal. Um, yeah, someone asked me recently like what my strategy was, and I was like, to fucking win. If it means I have to go out in like a 5 minute mile to go with the leaders, like I'm doing it. Like I just want to win. That's what I want. I need a win. I just want to like take people's souls. Like I'm just back in in that place where I'm like, I'm gonna full send it at the fire for 5K because I need this. I need this.
wow, eat Frosca turns into a demon. Okay, something was in those courses. One of those
Um,
courses.
I was hoping to get that win at Boulder, but my girl Molly Grable took that from me. She had a great day. She crushed me in the last mile and a half. I was like, bye. So I didn't get it there. So I was like, okay, I gotta like regroup. And then I was like, where can I get this win to get momentum as I like slowly start to pivot into a marathon build. And then I was like, firecracker 5K, let's go. So yes, I'm driving up to Fort Collins. The thing with racing out here, and I've talked about this before, it is some of the hardest, most competitive races of my career have been in Colorado, because just there's so many Olympians and just like world class athletes that live and train here. Um, and then if these races like the Firecracker 5K has prize money, it just brings people out of the woodwork. So you get to these races and you're like, oh shit, like is that like so and so, or is like that like like I've raced like some of these races are like international. So I have no idea what I'm up against tomorrow, but your girl is going for it. So yeah, look at results before you text me because if I get second, I swear to God.
I'm gonna call you tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call you tomorrow, and
Oh
either
my
I'm
God.
gonna be ready to talk you off the ledge or ready to celebrate. So I need to go to bed early so that I can mentally prepare myself for the potential triumph or disaster that will be that phone call.
I know, it's so funny. I've been watching the new Sprint documentary is out on Netflix, and I've only seen the first episode, but I'm already obsessed. And partially because it like takes you behind the scenes and into the minds of some of the greatest track and field athletes in the world. And I'm just like the confidence that they ooze and like the belief that they have in themselves. I'm like, I need that. Like, I need more of that. I need like a sprinkling of that. So I'm taking that into the Firecracker 5K and I'm like, let's go. I'm like ready to fucking go.
I if you
Anyway,
turn
so
into
yeah.
like Noah Lyles, because Noah just went at Oblique Seville and was like, "This ain't Jamaica. I seen you won rounds. I would love to see you do something like that."
Yeah, when I see like him and Shikari just like being who they are and just like, yeah, I'm just like, what if like I did that? And then I'm like, nah, stay in your lane. It's definitely
Listen,
not. But
it,
on the inside, that's the kind of energy I'm trying to like bring to myself because it's so true. It's just like I feel like we sometimes are afraid to be outwardly confident like that, and we're kind of like afraid, like we feel like we're gonna come across like, like I do think there's a line between like respecting your competition and the other people you're racing, like having that respect for like the event and the distance and like your competitors. But
yeah,
then there's also something to be said about having that confidence and like belief in how hard you've trained, like who you are and like what you bring to the table. And so watching them just do that, it's just like a good reminder because I feel like I've lost some of that over the years. So that's kind of been what I'm trying to kind of lean back into and like get back. So watching that documentary and then the trials, and then going into my own race, I'm like, okay, like I'm confident. I know who I am. I know that I'm fit. I think I can really just like, I just want to step onto that start line as
yeah.
like Noah Lyle says, and like you're ready to just fucking kill. Like that's like what he said. I was like, damn. So that'll be
Runners.
tomorrow. So if you're racing, good luck.
We love piece of chicken grease to you. All the best. Listen. Oh man, there's something I want to say, but we're just gonna go on. Speaking of crazy, wow, that I just felt something. I don't. You're talking about okay, let's run together, Dom. No, let's not run together. You're running by yourself.
Oh man.
God, we're gonna be running with. I beat Laura in something, and I cannot tell you how good it feels.
He did.
Uh,
He beat me in our trials draft. And it was like incredibly painful. Um, yeah, Shane, I really, I really make that Olympic team. So you kind of let me down. Just kidding. Sorry, dude.
uh,
You ran amazing. We're so proud of you and we want you on the show. But
yeah,
that's what
he's
it
not
came.
coming on after that.
He's like, screw you. No, Shane, I'm obsessed with your story. I've been following it all year. You were my pick. I was going so hard for you. You ran great. You ran a PR. So please come on the show. But that's what it came down to you. Like Dom and I were like tied up. And he was like, if Shane makes it, you win. But if he doesn't, I win. And I was like, oh my God. And then Shane, you ran an incredible
I,
but
I thought you were gonna phrase that so much worse, and so I'm glad that you cleaned it up because I thought it's like it came down to you and you didn't do it. So
no, we're so proud of you, Shane. Okay. We're so proud. You ran incredible and you have big things ahead of you. And we would love to hear all about it on the show. But I'm just telling you that it came down to you. That's that you were the tiebreaker.
you didn't get the job done, Laura.
And you didn't get it done for me.
So that's really what she's saying. She's disappointed. Honestly, at first it's like I was thinking about it, it's like Laura probably doesn't care, but then I realized how competitive you were. I was like,
I
I think she was slightly irritated.
Ugh, and then I was like fourth in my relay draft. So that also stung. Didn't even make the podium. What can you do though? That's the trials though. That's the beauty of it. Can be
Well,
anyone's day.
what did you find beautiful about the trials?
I just think, I don't know, I just think the sport is in a place that like truly has never been before, across all events and distances. And it was just incredibly cool to see history being made in countless events. And then again, I'm a big stories girl, and you always have good stories at the trials. I feel like that's one of the events where we actually really go into depths as far as like who these athletes are and the journeys that they've been on to arrive at this moment. So I love that piece of it. I think that's truly beautiful, and we need to do more of that in the sport. So, yeah, it was just an unforgettable trials in more ways than one. But I really did feel like I was watching history in a lot of what we saw. And it was just like, it was really cool. Like I had like chills watching some of these events. And then afterwards, you're like, what did I just witness? Like, I'm like, you almost feel like as fans, you're just like part of this history that's happening in our sport. Um, so yeah, that's what was really cool for me.
I think the pain of the trials was something that it happens every 4 years, but it hit a little differently this year, in my opinion, because there were some people who did not make the team, didn't make the final, that you just knew based on everything that they'd done in the season and the seasons leading up to the Olympic
Yeah.
trials, they were almost a shoo-in. That is why I like the biggest one is going to be a thing, Mo.
Mhm.
And the heartbreak that was. Uh, Brooke Anderson, Logie Tasanga, like in the throws, that was a tough pill to swallow. But on the flip side, you have Quincy Wilson, who made the team. You have, unique stories such as, gosh, like almost where do I begin?
I
There's
know.
just so many unique stories. Like you look at
Story.
Val Constant's story, and the things that she overcame. You look at um freaking Parker Valby
Yeah, Parker Valby potentially making the Olympics in two events.
in two events. Like that
Like,
is that's crazy. And that still is not settled. And I think that's another crazy thing about it.
yeah.
That's the beautiful part. It was so competitive that it's still not settled. Parker could be one. Amanda Vestry could go. You don't know. That's just a women's 10K.
Well, and
You
that's and
know,
like it's the same in the men's 5K. Like Parker Wolf had an incredible race, gets third, but we're all waiting to see if his ranking will like boost the way, or like if his ranking will come up the way that it needs to. And so he's close right now because he obviously got mega points for his finish at the trials. But he still is waiting on like he needs like I think 5 or 6 people to scratch ahead of him, which would boost him. And if that doesn't happen, then Graham Blanks goes. So we're still waiting for that to kind of sort out. James Corrigan in the men's steeple, he was able to chase the standard and got
that's
it.
crazy.
He ran 8:13. He like PR'd by like 9 seconds at like an all comers meet. So again, like I think that is like to your point, that was something unique about this trials is because of where the time standards now sit, a lot of people are kind of dependent on their ranking.
Right.
So many like just not that many people came in with the standard. I mean, I think sprints is a little bit different. I think most people in the sprints, from like what I could tell, and what I read, like a lot of them have the standard, but like throws and like distance events, I think were a little bit different this year, where
Yeah.
not a lot of people had them. So rankings came into play, which is kind of confusing for I think a lot of people because they're like, oh, well, they were top three, don't they go? And it's like, well, typically, yeah, because most in years past, most of the field tends to have the standard. So yeah, it is
Right.
just top three, but it's a different story this year. So people are dependent on these rankings, and that dust won't settle with that for what, like another 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what do you make of the ranking system
It's confusing.
and the standard system and the standard system?
The standard system to me is wild right now because I'm just like, they're continuing to make them faster. Like the world standards have already come out for next year and they're faster than
Yeah.
the Olympic standards are now. And you're just like, we hardly have people running these standards now.
Right.
Like globally, there's not a ton of people hitting these standards, and yet we're making them increasingly faster. Like, at what point is it just like, we go too far where we're hardly able to send full teams, you know? So then the rankings become really important because if you're not able to hit these ridiculous time standards that are set almost, in my opinion, like too far above where we are, uh, then the rankings become a huge piece of that. But like that's confusing because like the point system isn't clear. It's like certain, like, I don't think many people knew up until recently because of the trials that you get like double points for like going to NACAX, you know, which is
Yeah.
like another, it's like a world team. Like you have like the world team and like the Olympic team, and then like you have these other teams that you can make based off where you fall. And so I feel like a lot of people don't typically go to NACAX, but like that's where Evan Jager got double points that almost
Yep.
like put him in contention to go. So
Mhm.
like I just don't think we know at least okay, I should speak for myself. I didn't know enough about how the ranking system worked and how many points you get for what and where you get all of these points to make sure that you're within that ranking if you're not able to hit that time. And the
Right.
times to me seem more and more outrageous. Like I'm just like, holy, like the marathon times are 2:06 and
That's crazy.
2:23:30. Like what? We hardly, at least on the US side of things, had men hitting 2:08.
Yeah.
Like Career had to get in on his ranking. And Connor and Clayton were one of the only two that had the standard based off just time. And yet we're going to make it 2 minutes faster. Like what? I don't know. I think that's a little ridiculous. I don't understand like why, I guess. They're
It
getting,
seemed, oh, I'm sorry.
but not everyone is running when like the majority of people still at the really top level are still not quite hitting the standards as they are now. Like why make them even faster? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
I do, and I was thinking about it. It feels like either they're trying to do one or two things, but regardless of what they're trying to do, the more you lower the standard, it's either, in my opinion, to weed out who you deem as weak. And what that does, it creates a tighter field
Mm.
for elite competition because because what you're doing is you either think, okay, the sport is elevating, we have to elevate with it. And so we're going to increase this to challenge the athletes, or it could just be to save money and
Yeah.
everything because it's like, all right, we know only a select few are going to run. Those are the people that will probably bring us the biggest audience. Let's not worry about everybody else
Yeah.
and everything. The risk you run is on a year like next year. Here's the risk. So the championships are in September next year, as
Mm.
they're in September in Tokyo. You risk injury to top stars because there could be a down year. Like the worst thing, and I've said it multiple times. I hate that the Olympics the Olympics is not the last event, the last meet of the season. Worlds, it will be next year. Worlds is not the last meet of the season. You got to go back and start competing in Diamond League and do all these rankings and all this crap and do the points and stuff like that. There's more of an emphasis and an onus on cross country now. There's more of an emphasis on indoor because indoor serves as a time qualifier. So it's like we're trying to weed out, we're trying to, honest to God's truth, determine who is a professional in the sport, in our own way. And that is a very dangerous game that you play because it allows for political hierarchy, in my opinion, to kind of come in and have a place because to me, every country should send their top three. If you finish top three, because at this point, like, why are we having the trials, basically?
Yeah, I mean, that was the question that came up. It's like, why have the trial system if it doesn't mean what it used to? And it's a good question.
Yeah. So why are we having the trials? Because if you're top three, Parker Wolf then took the pictures, did the victory lap, got the little teddy bear they give you, got some flowers and all this other stuff, got airtime, got 30 minutes, and he may have to go to class in August. Um, while Grand Planks is at the Olympics.
Right.
Like, like think about that. I'd be pissed. I gotta go
Yeah.
to Cal 8 and he's racing in the 5K.
Well, then you also flip it and it's like Graham Blanks didn't get like any of that. Like he didn't get to celebrate that. And like obviously if he gets to go, you get to run and you get to go and be like you're an Olympian, like regardless, like doesn't take away from that. And it would suck for Parker, who technically was third and wouldn't get like it. I feel like it does both a disservice, right? Like that's what I'm trying to say. Like I think it kind of like undercuts both of them from having like that the glory of like the whole moment that you should have when you're top three at the trials. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward and if the way we have structured things as far as like the US goes and how we pick our teams, like if that's going to have to change based off of like where we are in the sport and these elevated time standards and now rankings. And like you said, that comes into play and athletes essentially need to race more to get those points if they feel like they're not able to quite hit that time. Like what I just think there's so many things that are going to have to change. And like the system we have in place now is getting like, it's getting like, we're like maxing it out with like what it can actually do in the
Yeah.
constraints of like where we are. So I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. And like, I get it. Like I understand like the sport is elevated. And like I said earlier, we're watching history being made like literally every time someone takes a start line. It's wild. So the depth is there and you want the best of the best competing at the Olympics and these world championships. I 100% get that. And I don't think the times need to, stay the same forever or get slower. But it's wild to me that we're hardly like we're sending full teams, but like we're having to do it in like this new and different way because the time standards themselves, people aren't hitting those. So we're like, if you're looking just off time standards, if rankings weren't involved, we wouldn't be sending a full team
Right.
in any event.
Yeah.
Outside of like 5 events, we wouldn't be sending a full team.
Last question about the trials, and this is a conversation we will revisit. Well, the good news is we're low-key about to have guests. So
Woo! We actually have some really great ones lined up, you guys. So stoked.
I heard this question being asked in the mix zone a lot. So I'm gonna rephrase how they asked it. The question was, do you think the trial should be held in Eugene? But the secondary question, I guess I'm not gonna rephrase, and that's the one I'm posing to you. If so, don't answer the first one. If you had to hold the trial somewhere else, where would you hold it?
I would hold them in LA where the Olympics are going to be.
What about just USA's?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I know there's like no perfect answer to this, but there's other places like you can hold them at. Like they redid that whole like Mount Sac Stadium in LA. They did
Yep.
Des Moines. They've done Sacramento. Like there are other places that are easier, cheaper to get to that don't cost athletes thousands upon thousands of dollars to be able to participate. So I get Eugene, I get Tracktown USA, I get the whole like the crowds and the atmosphere and the energy and the stadium and like the resources that are in place like within that new infrastructure that they've spent like millions on. Like I totally get that. But I just think there's other things people are overlooking. Like it costs so much money to fly to Eugene. There's hardly any hotels in Eugene. So a lot of times people are staying way outside and having to commute back and forth, or they're staying in these Airbnbs that don't have air conditioning and are insanely expensive. Like I was talking to a friend of mine who competed in the trials in 2021, and she said it cost her $3,500 to like be there. And she was an athlete, she was racing. Like
Mhm.
that's an insane amount of money because flights are like it's just such a hard place to get to. And then like you have this incredible infrastructure as far as the stadium goes and like the fans it can hold and like all of the things that are there for the athletes. But then it's like the town, it's the city itself like can't hold that though. And it's
Yeah.
like so expensive. It's the accommodations from what I've heard, like typically just aren't great. or comfortable for that amount of time. So I just think like it should rotate. I'm not saying it should like not be in Eugene, but I think you need to rotate it around. And I think there are other places that sure maybe there's some like no place is perfect. Like you're not going to get everything, but there are so many other places in the country. Like have it on the East Coast. Like God, like switch back and forth from like Pacific to East, Pacific to East. Like you could do something like that where it's just like every other cycle, you know? Like I just think there are ways to make it more affordable and like easier for like not only the athletes but like also the fans to like access this part of the sport. And I think Eugene sometimes makes that really difficult. And I don't think it should be locked into at Eugene every single time. I think we need to like spread it around.
I love having pre in Eugene, and I agree with you. Like, I think it's good to still have some championship meets there. I
Oh, for
love.
sure. I'm not
Uh,
saying you take that out. No, no.
no, no, I'm agreeing with you on that front because it's put all that money into it. You know, you definitely have to have a return on your investment. Um, so I agree with you on that front. I would actually like to see it held at North Carolina A&T,
Yeah, great. Put it on that. That's great.
um, where they have junior nationals there. Um, because that barbecue be good. I don't know about that barbecue sauce. They do a vinegar-based barbecue. Out of South Carolina. North Carolina has kind of the mix. And those ribs, girl.
Those ribs.
Those
Yeah,
ribs.
have it somewhere with ribs, right? Like, sure. Let's elevate everything. No, I agree. I was saying like that you could do that. You could do it in Eugene and then the next go you could do it somewhere on the East Coast. Like just switch it back between coastlines. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Again, there's not like simple black and white solutions to this, but to just answer it simply, no, I do not think that the trials in USA should be held in Eugene every single time. I do not agree with that decision that I think has been made.
Have it in
Personally.
Orlando.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the marathon trials are totally different. Maybe we just lock those in somewhere. I don't know.
Orlando, baby, 407, say hey, hey. Um, Notice I had to say that by myself.
Notice I was like, I will not say that. It's too soon. It'll forever be too soon.
It won't be. Laura will let me die down here without coming back.
I mean, I would come back for
Oh, like
your
when I die.
funeral, but you're going to be hard pressed to get me back at any other point.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that. It's healing. We love you. Orlando
I
loves you.
know. Mom was like, don't you want to reclaim it for yourself? I was like, no. There are some things I do want to reclaim for myself, but that's not one of them. I'm good to just let that burn.
That's so hurtful because I live down here. So you letting that burn means I got to burn too. So, oh, I'm
You
crying.
are burning because you're choosing to run at 11 a.m. when the heat index is 106. You're already doing that to yourself. Don't pull me into that.
Okay, well, we can't be like you where the weather is like always perfect in Boulder.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's hot here, but not that hot. No, it's a different hot. So you're right. I can't complain.
but you still don't want to come visit me.
I said in the winter.
Okay. See, growth. That's, listen, we put the
We'll think
growth.
about it. We'll think about it.
I am giving Laura lactic acid and it's gonna wear her down, so she has to come back to Orlando. Too many people know you because granted, everybody
It's
who
true.
I've come
Dom
across.
has built me an incredible Florida fan base. So that's probably where like all of my fans are. So I probably should go to Florida just for that. Thanks to Dom. He like every time someone comes into Fleet Feet, he makes sure that they know who I am. So
Okay.
I'm so appreciative of you.
We're gonna have
Helping
a
me build
Laura.
my brand.
Yes, brand building. I am the official publicist of the Thweet Incorporation. I am the publicist of Team Thweet.
Yeah.
That is my role
Yeah, that's your role. Yes. Yeah.
in the team. Nothing more, nothing less. The publicist to publicize the goat. Speaking of goats, let me talk about myself for a minute. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Well,
No,
yes.
no, that's a horrible segue because I am not the goat.
No, remember self-confidence, self-belief. We just talked about how powerful that is.
I forgot that conversation.
And
But
only Noah Lyles.
no, I can't do that.
I'm gonna do that tomorrow.
Okay, you do you. I'll do it on my run tomorrow until I like walk outside,
Yeah.
and it's just oppressive. Um, we got a couple questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
And by a couple questions, we had questions last week, but they asked so many that we could only get to two. So we're going
We
to
love
answer the rest of them.
questions. Thank you for submitting questions. Those of you who did, it's our favorite part of the show. We love to engage with you. So keep
Okay. Marcus Allen of Barry Mia. Everybody say what up to Marcus. Marcus on three.
Marcus,
One, two,
we love
three.
you.
Marcus.
Marcus.
Bro, we didn't do 29.
Oh yeah, maybe we just end with that.
Okay, that's a good one. 29 and hashtag we're poor. Um, Marcus asked, what will be your pitch to extraterrestrials? Did I say that right?
Yeah, you said it. Good job.
Okay, let me reread the question so I can say it again. What would be your pitch to extraterrestrials for why they should abduct you? So that question was for you.
Why they should abduct me? What if I don't want to be abducted?
That's what.
I would say, please don't abduct me. Well, I don't know. I guess there'd be some instances where I would want to get abducted.
Okay, so
Um,
by alien.
yeah, I don't know how I would pitch that though. I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know what I would say. I don't know how I would sell myself to a extraterrestrial, but
What do you just text an alien and be like, "Hey, you free?" Like,
hey, you up?
"Hey, you up?" Oh, you said, "Oh, I'm not going to say what I'm about to say."
You up?
You hit them with a WYD.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Before we get canceled.
Yeah, oh my God. Okay, next question. I feel like I've answered that. Let's move on.
uh,
Giving too much away.
Giving too much away, giving away all the secrets.
Oh boy.
Hey, alien, Mr. Alien, what you doing today? Oh, we can invite him to a potluck,
Oh yeah. You know what? I would just give them some fried chicken and be like, there's more where that came from.
but you have to take me with. What the? Okay, the next
Take me with
question.
you.
Okay, the next question comes from Jaden Quinn. Uh, before we really,
Okay, let's move along. I feel like I'm trying to unravel. I'm saying too much. Okay, hit me
dude,
with the next question.
this is Patreon stuff, dude. Why are you
I know
saying the Patreon
this
stuff?
is behind the paywall stuff. I'm giving like teasers to like
Lactic
what you
acid
get,
uncut.
yeah, what you get if you join us behind the paywall.
Yes,
Um,
lactic acid uncut featuring the twins. What non-athletic, non-running brand would be cool to sponsor runners for uniform gear?
that's a great question. I think I would want. I mean, I've always wanted a Red Bull sponsorship. I think that would be so sick. Because they did sponsor Emma Coburn for like a hot second, like a while back, and she got to fly in the Red Bull helicopter. And I was like, that would be so badass. Also Neutrogena. I want a Neutrogena
Yeah,
sponsorship.
because she does not want to pay for anymore.
I don't want to pay for my skincare. Um, or I don't know, like a restaurant chain would be cool. Um, I'm trying to think. I don't know, something like that. Who would you want to be sponsored by?
It used to be Church's Chicken,
There you go.
but I changed it. I would want to be sponsored by Reese's.
Oh, good call.
I would want to be sponsored by a bank with the hopes that they just put money in my account.
Yeah, a bank sponsorship would be sick, like Wells Fargo. You're like, cool, just like throw some cash at me here and there.
Yeah, that would be great. And I would want to be sponsored by Christmas Tree Farm.
So you could get free Christmas trees.
Yes, and lights and ornaments and all that stuff.
That could be cool. Oh,
And
Target.
then
I want Target to sponsor me. Duh. That'd be,
I was kind of waiting for that. Yes.
yeah, I want a Target sponsorship.
I want a Trader Joe's sponsorship. I want a Target sponsorship. I need to give me a Whole Food sponsorship too.
Oh, also that. God, that would be really helpful.
Um, I think that's it. Oh, and Apple or T-Mobile or somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. A technology sponsorship. I'd want an Apple sponsorship.
I just want somebody to sponsor me that just pays the bills.
Yeah, it doesn't really, I'm really not picky at this point. I'm happy for anyone to throw free stuff at me.
Yes. Last question. Ultimate men's or women's mixed 4x4 relay.
Oh my God. Okay. I would have Rye Benjamin, Sydney McLaughlin, uh,
Okay.
Michael Norman, and oh man, probably a thing Mo.
Okay.
That'd be a fucking sick 4x4.
Okay. Um, that's a great 4x4. I love that you have Rye as the lead off.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, because, like he's used to hurdling. So I would have him lead. I'd have him then give it to Sid. Well, I don't know. I feel like Sid should just anchor because she can literally do anything. Maybe I'd have Rye a thing, Michael, Sid. Or would I have Michael? Actually, no, I changed that. I'd have Michael lead off to a thing, to Rye, to Sid.
okay.
I don't know.
I would have Rye as a good anchor, so I would put Rye at anchor. I would have Norman lead me off, lead it off.
Okay.
I would have Sid second
No, you
because
normally have your weak. You don't. I feel like you'd want her third,
who told
right?
you you have your weakest on the second?
In high
No.
school.
Okay, yeah. Well, did your okay? I'm not gonna say nothing else.
I
So,
was on the 4x4 in high
uh,
school.
okay. So I'm sorry. Thoughts and prayers from what they did to you, but traditionally, you want your second to be your fastest. Okay. So for example,
Okay, is it first? Okay, so yeah, no, that actually makes more sense. I see what you're
my
saying.
slowest would be my third.
Yeah, okay.
Because think about it this way. If I have somebody that could get out the box and do decently, I want them first.
Yeah.
I want somebody that could put some separation between the field second, and then third,
You just want them to maintain.
I want them to maintain,
And
or
then,
if they give up ground, it's not a lot of ground. And
and
then
then you put
fourth,
yours closer. Yeah, you obviously
yes,
want the strongest board. So wait, you would have Rye anchor
yes,
and Michael start, and then you'd
yes,
have Sid second, I think third.
yes.
Yeah, okay. That's actually pretty good. Yeah.
Sid's gonna put separate. Michael's gonna get off to a great start. Sid's gonna separate. A thing is gonna separate, and then Rye can just close it out. And if something were to happen, Rye has the 400-meter hurdle strength
Yeah.
to finish the job.
Wait, if anyone's listening who's in charge of the relays, that's your relay.
That's
That's such
that's
a
your
sick
mixed
relay. I want to see that relay happen.
that's your mixed team USA
That's
mixed
your
relay.
mixed team relay. Let's go.
Yeah. Um, I was gonna say Rye Benjamin on leadoff. It's like, yeah, we're not doing that. Shout out to Rye though. Rye,
Yeah, and right, you don't have to wear a bib for this. It's fine. Free ride.
no. Free my dog Rye. Uh Rye, we love you, big dog.
We do, and we
Uh
want you to come on the show.
yes.
So just gonna throw that out there. If you feel like penciling a lactic acid appearance anywhere in your schedule in the next six
Ever.
months, just really ever. There's like no time expiration for that. Let us know.
Um, um, God, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh my God, we
Gosh,
need to end it.
no, I gotta give mine. But that was so beautifully astute, except the fact that we didn't know the relay places. I would have, I'm in no order yet. I would have, ooh, this is tough. Okay. Because somebody's gonna get left off, and the person I have to leave her off. I'm sorry, not sorry. So I would have Michael Norman.
Hmm.
He would hand off to Alison Felix,
Oh, okay. Okay.
who would
Yeah.
hand off to Sid, who would hand off to Michael Johnson, since you could be retired.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know you could like pull like
Yeah.
legend out of retirement for this. Okay. I was doing like a current one. But yeah,
Okay.
that's a yeah, if you can do that, yeah, that's definitely
Yes.
yeah. Oh my God, if I can do that, then I want Sonia Richards Ross.
That was who I left off because it's like it's between
Oh man.
Sid
Okay, I
and
would
Tyra
put sorry a thing. I would put Sonya on mine. So I would have Michael to
Sid.
Sid to Sonya to Rye.
I would actually switch because Sonya can
Yeah,
close
I was
too.
gonna say I feel like Sonya should be second.
Yeah. Rye would be third.
And then yeah, then you have Sid anchor. Sonya, if you're listening, one, I love you and you do an incredible job commentating. And I was a huge fan of your career and followed it very closely. Please come out of retirement and make this happen.
Or
I feel like Sonya could still just like a couple weeks of running could just still pop one off. You know, like I feel like when you're that great, you're like never that far from being able to just like jump back in. I
yeah.
think that's how it works.
Okay. Um, it works that way for everybody except me. It's working that way for Laura because Laura's like 23,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm like Benjamin buttoning it. It's like
Benjamin
I'm
Button.
reverting back to like my 23-year-old self. I actually am because a big reason I'm doing this race is because there's prize money.
Exactly. And what
I'm
35
like, I
year old
need
would you do
money.
that? I
So I
need money.
am actually like reverting back to where I started.
Oh, we're in the help us report phase.
Oh yeah, help us report because
We're in the help us report era.
yes.
Um, any thoughts before we depart?
No, this feels like a really great. I think we crushed it.
I hope so. And so simply follow us on social media. Laura's going to post about her race. And please follow Laura. She is really fun to follow, but she has been dropping some inspirational things as of late. I sat down and read through them, and I was like, dang, somebody can get something out of this. So if you need a little extra paprika on your chicken, then definitely be sure to tune into that. But what's our motto, which is how we're going to close? 29 on 3, 29 on me. 1, 2, 3,
29.
29. And we'll catch you next time.